Your daughter is a violent troublemaker, and she's being expelled permanently. The principal's words echo through his office as 8-year-old Emma Mitchell sits silently beside her mother, blood still on her knuckles from defending a younger student against 3 bullies. The principal refuses to hear their side, already pushing the expulsion papers across his desk, while a smug parent whose son started the fight watches from the corner with a satisfied smile. What none of them know is that Emma's mother, 25-year-old Commander Sarah Mitchell, is not just any parent. She's a decorated Navy officer returning from deployment tomorrow, and the entire Naval Command is about to show this school exactly what happens when they fail to protect military families. Before we see what happens next, smash that subscribe button if you believe in standing up for what's right even when authority gets it wrong. And comment below telling us about a time you witnessed injustice and someone finally stood up. Sarah Mitchell had been deployed for 8 months. As a Navy surface warfare officer, stationed on a destroyer in the Persian Gulf, she spent most of her time managing combat systems and leading a crew of sailors through dangerous waters. It was demanding work that required her full attention, which meant she had to trust that things back home were being handled. Her daughter Emma lived with Sarah's mother during deployments. 8 years old, smart as a whip, and tougher than most kids twice her age, Emma had grown up in a military family and understood that sometimes mom had to be gone for long stretches. She handled it better than most kids would. Sarah video called Emma every week when satellite communications allowed. They would talk about school, friends, what Emma was reading. Emma always seemed fine, happy, adjusted, but 3 days before Sarah was scheduled to return home, she got a call from her mother that changed everything. "Sarah, we have a problem." Emma got into a fight at school. They're talking about suspension, maybe expulsion. Sarah's first thought was that there had been some mistake. Emma wasn't violent. She had never been in trouble before. What happened? Her mother explained what she knew. Emma had gotten into a physical altercation with 3 other students. One of them had a black eye. Another had a bloody nose. The school was taking a zero-tolerance stance on violence. Sarah's mind raced. She was still 2 days from home port, then another day of travel to get back to Virginia. She couldn't just leave her post. But her daughter needed her. Put Emma on the phone. When Emma's voice came through, small and scared, Sarah's heart broke. "Baby, are you okay? Are you hurt?" Emma sniffed. "I'm fine, Mom, but I'm in big trouble. Tell me what happened." The truth. All of it. Emma's story came out in pieces. There was a younger kid at school, a first grader named Tommy, who had a speech impediment. 3 fifth-grade boys had been bullying him for weeks, taking his lunch money, pushing him around, making fun of the way he talked. The teachers knew but weren't doing enough to stop it. Emma had told them multiple times. Nothing changed. That day, Emma saw the 3 boys corner Tommy behind the gym during recess. They were pushing him down, laughing while he cried. Emma ran over and told them to stop. They laughed at her too, told her to mind her own business. One of them pushed Tommy so hard he fell and split his lip on the concrete. That's when Emma snapped. She had been taking karate classes for 2 years. Sarah had enrolled her because she wanted Emma to be able to defend herself. Emma had never used it outside the dojo before. She used it that day. She put one kid on the ground with a leg sweep, gave another a bloody nose with a palm strike. The third one tried to grab her, and she twisted his arm in a joint lock until he let go. It was over in seconds. The 3 bullies were on the ground crying. Tommy was safe, and Emma stood there knowing she was going to be in massive trouble, but not regretting a single thing. The school's version of events was very different. According to them, Emma had attacked 3 innocent students without provocation. The boys claimed they were just talking to Tommy when Emma went crazy and started hitting them. The school believed the boys. Their parents were influential in the community. One was on the school board. Another owned a successful business and donated money to the school. The third was the son of a lawyer who had already threatened to sue. Emma was just a military kid whose mom was deployed. She had no one with influence to defend her. The disciplinary hearing was scheduled for the day after Sarah returned. But Sarah's mother had already been told informally that the decision was made. Emma would be expelled. The school wanted to make an example out of her, to show they took violence seriously. Sarah finished the call with Emma and immediately contacted her commanding officer. She explained the situation and requested emergency leave to handle a family crisis. Her CO didn't hesitate. "Go. Your daughter needs you. We'll handle things here." Sarah flew home the next day. She landed in Virginia late in the evening, still in her uniform, and went straight to her mother's house. Emma ran into her arms crying, "I'm sorry, Mom, I know I messed up, but I couldn't let them hurt Tommy anymore." Sarah held her daughter tight. "You didn't mess up, baby. You did exactly what I would have done. We're going to fix this." The disciplinary hearing was at 10 the next morning. Sarah showed up in her service dress blue uniform, not because she was trying to intimidate anyone, but because she had come straight from base and hadn't had time to change. The hearing was held in the principal's office. Principal Davis was a thin man in his 50s who looked like he had already made up his mind. The three boys and their parents were there. Tommy and his mother, a single parent who worked 2 jobs, sat in the corner looking terrified. Sarah sat down next to Emma and placed a hand on her daughter's shoulder. Principal Davis opened a folder. "Mrs. Mitchell, thank you for coming. I'm sure you're aware of why we're here. Your daughter engaged in violent behavior that resulted in injuries to 3 students. Our school has a zero-tolerance policy regarding violence." Sarah kept her voice calm and professional. "I'd like to hear exactly what happened from all parties before any decisions are made." One of the parents, a woman in expensive clothes whose son had the black eye, spoke up. "What happened is that your daughter attacked my son unprovoked. She's clearly been affected by growing up in a violent military household and needs serious intervention." Sarah's jaw tightened, but she maintained her composure. "That's quite an accusation. Do you have evidence to support it?" The woman gestured at her son's face. "The evidence is right here." "Your daughter did this." Sarah turned to the principal. "Were there witnesses? Security cameras? Any investigation into what led to this incident?" Principal Davis looked uncomfortable. "Several students witnessed the altercation. Their accounts vary. Some support your daughter's version. Others support the boys. And which version did you choose to believe?" The principal hesitated. "Given the severity of the injuries and the complaints from these parents, we felt it was appropriate to take strong action." Sarah leaned forward. "So you made a decision before hearing all the facts, before my daughter had proper representation, before considering that maybe, just maybe, she was defending someone who couldn't defend himself." The lawyer parent spoke up. "Ms. Mitchell, I understand you're upset, but the fact remains that your daughter used excessive force against younger children. That's assault. We could press charges." Sarah's expression went cold. She reached into her bag and pulled out her phone. "Before you threaten my daughter with legal action, let me show you something." She pulled up a video. Tommy's mother, the single parent in the corner, had given it to Sarah that morning. It was from Tommy's phone. He had been recording the bullying for weeks, trying to gather evidence to show the teachers. The video showed everything. The 3 boys cornering Tommy, pushing him, taking his money. The footage from that day showed them knocking Tommy down so hard his face hit the concrete. It showed Emma running over and telling them to stop. It showed one of the boys shoving Emma and telling her to get lost. Then it showed Emma defending herself and Tommy. Sarah let the video play in silence. When it ended, the room was quiet. "So," Sarah said, her voice like ice, "are we still calling this unprovoked violence? Or are we going to acknowledge that my daughter defended a smaller child from 3 bullies who had been tormenting him for weeks, while the school did nothing?" Principal Davis looked pale. We weren't aware of this video because you didn't investigate," Sarah said. "You made assumptions based on which parents had more influence. You were willing to ruin my 8-year-old daughter's future to protect the children of wealthy donors." The lawyer parent stood up. "Now wait just a minute." Sarah stood as well, and something in her bearing made him stop talking. "For 8 months, I've been deployed overseas defending this country. I've been away from my daughter, missing birthdays and school events because I took an oath to protect people who can't protect themselves. And I come home to find that the school my tax dollars support has failed to protect a vulnerable child and is now punishing my daughter for doing what you should have done in the first place." The room was dead silent. Sarah continued, "Here's what's going to happen. Emma will not be expelled. She will not be suspended. The 3 boys in this room will face appropriate consequences for months of bullying behavior. The school will implement a real anti-bullying program with oversight. And if anyone has a problem with that, I will make this video public. I will contact every local news station. I will make sure everyone knows that this school protects bullies, as long as their parents write big enough checks. Principal Davis found his voice. Ms. Mitchell, you can't threaten. I'm not threatening, Sarah interrupted. I'm explaining reality. I have documentation of my daughter reporting this bullying multiple times. I have timestamps of emails and calls from my mother to school staff that were ignored. I have video evidence, and I have a very short tolerance for people who put politics and money ahead of children's safety. One of the mothers stood up angrily. Who do you think you are? The door to the principal's office opened before Sarah could respond. 3 Navy officers walked in. 2 captains and a rear admiral, all in uniform, all wearing stern expressions. Principal Davis stood up, confused. Can I help you? The rear admiral spoke. We're here to observe these proceedings. Commander Mitchell serves under my command. When we heard that she was dealing with an unjust disciplinary action against her daughter while she was deployed defending our country, we felt it was important to show our support. He looked around the room. The Navy takes care of its own. When our service members deploy, they need to know their families are being treated fairly back home. It appears that didn't happen here. The principal looked like he wanted to disappear into the floor. The wealthy parents suddenly found the floor very interesting. The admiral continued. I've reviewed the evidence Commander Mitchell provided. It's clear that her daughter acted in defense of another student. It's also clear that this school failed in its duty to protect that student from ongoing harassment. I would suggest that you reconsider your disciplinary decision. Carefully. He didn't say it as a threat. He didn't need to. The presence of 3 high-ranking Navy officers made the message clear enough. Principal Davis sat down heavily. After reviewing all the evidence, he said slowly, I believe we may have made some hasty judgments. Emma, I apologize. You were protecting another student, and that should have been taken into consideration. There will be no expulsion. No suspension. He looked at the 3 boys. However, there will be consequences for the bullying behavior that led to this incident. You will each serve detention, attend counseling, and participate in our new anti-bullying program. Your parents will be required to attend as well. The wealthy parents looked outraged but said nothing. What could they say with a rear admiral standing right there? The hearing ended. The admiral spoke privately with the principal about implementing better protections for military families. The captains talked with Tommy's mother about resources available to her. Outside the school, Emma hugged her mother. Mom, why did all those Navy people come? Sarah smiled. Because when you serve, you're part of a family. And family takes care of each other. My CO called his CO who called his CO. When they heard what was happening, they wanted to help. Emma looked up at the admiral who was standing nearby. Thank you, sir. The admiral knelt down. You did good, kid. You saw someone in trouble and you helped them. That's what we teach our sailors. Stand up for people who can't stand up for themselves. Your mom must be proud. Sarah put her hand on Emma's shoulder. I am. So proud. The story spread through the local military community within days. The school quietly implemented new policies to protect military children and take bullying complaints seriously. The 3 boys who had been bullying Tommy were genuinely remorseful after their counseling sessions and actually apologized to both Tommy and Emma. Tommy's mother sent Sarah a letter thanking her for standing up when no one else would, but the moment that mattered most to Sarah came a week later. She was tucking Emma into bed when her daughter asked a question. Mom, do you think I'll grow up to be like you? Sarah brushed hair from Emma's forehead. I think you already are like me. You see someone in trouble and you help them. You stand up for what's right even when it's hard. That's what being a good person means. That's what being a good sailor means. Emma smiled. Then I want to join the Navy too, when I'm old enough. Sarah felt tears in her eyes. We'll see. You've got lots of time to decide. But whatever you choose to do, I know you'll do it with courage and honor. You already showed me that. Years later, Emma would remember that day. The day her mother came home in uniform and stood up to a system that tried to punish her for doing the right thing. The day the Navy showed up to support one of their own. She would remember that being part of something bigger than yourself meant you were never truly alone. That standing up for others mattered. That courage came in many forms. And when Emma turned 18 and took her own oath to serve in the Navy, she would think about that day and know she was following the right path, because her mother had shown her that real strength isn't about winning fights. It's about standing up for people who can't stand up for themselves. And that's a lesson worth learning no matter where life takes you.